Hi guys, welcome to my channel and welcome to the first episode of the series How Music Shaped and Reflected the Vietnam War. In this series, we're going to take a look at the movie Platoon, and we're going to take a look at also the music for that movie, Adagio for the Strings by Samuel Barber. It was not composed for the movie, just in case you were thinking it was, but it gained a lot of popularity after that movie. It's one of the most significant compositions by Samuel Barber, and it's usually called the saddest song ever. But before that, make sure you subscribe to my channel and like this video. I'll be releasing one episode a day, and I have a lot of other songs and music to react to and talk about, so make sure you follow me along. In case you haven't watched the movie is written and directed and I think also produced by Oliver Stone. He was a Yale student and he volunteered to go to Vietnam. And as you might also know or not know, there was a one-year draft but at the time, and it was the first draft after World War II. So once you were 18, if you were a guy, you had to be drafted for 1 year. The only exception was if you were in college. So a lot of more rich people could afford to stay in college, so they could postpone the draft, but unfortunately 90% of the people who got drafted were from the lower class or the people who could not afford to stay in college. But Oliver Stone actually volunteered to go there, and this movie is based on his experiences. It's not necessarily what happened to him. It's inspired by it, obviously, and it's gained a lot of recognition. It has a lot of good reviews, and I watched it a few nights ago for the first time. So that's where I got the idea about making this video. So we're not gonna react to the whole movie. Obviously, we're gonna just watch some parts of it together, especially the parts with the music. I'm gonna focus on the music a little bit more, and we're gonna go from there. So here we go. Okay, so first of all, this video has some spoiler alerts. So just in case you haven't watched it, I'm just gonna warn you guys, and you can just skip ahead. So the song that is Adagio for Strings by Barber, it was actually composed in 1936, and it was a string quartet at first, but then two years later he arranged it for the orchestra, and this is the version they're using here. So this piece, the cool thing, or what makes it sad, I think, we can go ahead and listen to it a little bit more, but in my opinion, it's the very slow crescendos that go into climax. So you don't get to the climax, you don't get to the peak of the piece that soon, and I think that's really helping the feeling of it just getting deeper and deeper and deeper, and it feels like you're in a hole that is never end. It always reminds me of the black holes in space, that once you're there forever. It kind of has that feeling that you're just going in and it's endless. And I feel like the choice for this movie was just perfect. So one thing, it's really, that's why I skipped, because it was getting very emotional for me. I come from a country that is familiar with war. That's why it just feels different. I mean, I was never personally in a war. My parents were. Like it was like we had an 8-year war with Iraq, and that ended, I think, like 6 or 7 years before I was born. But my parents, being from the south and living in the province that was like directly in war, like they would tell me stories of, like, I was like, how would you guys like live your life? Like even like watching like or hearing the stories is like it's different. And I don't know how. I feel like human has this like amazing ability to adjust with any situation, but when looking from now, like it's like 8 years and people were living their life and war was basically part of their life. I know this is not the case for the American soldiers because they were going like to a war, and I don't want to talk about like whether it was right or wrong decisions. I don't want to get into the politics of it. Just like talking from like the standpoint of like what's going on, and it's definitely sad and heartbreaking for both sides, because none of the people who are in charge and the people who make the decisions, they're not usually the ones who get hurt, and it's always the victims are the regular people. So my mic got disconnected actually, but the last part of the video I was talking about how this music, Barber's Adagio for string, is not just for that movie. It's used in a lot of other kind of like moments of national grief, including JFK assassination and when FDR died. So it's kind of like it plays a role of like an American like memorial soundtrack. So next time you hear this music anywhere, you can think about all that. But this video was a little depressing, but I hope you enjoyed it still. And next time I'm gonna talk about Fortunate Son by CCR. So make sure you follow me along in this series. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.